Most people think being broke just means having less money. But what if I told you that being poor actually costs more? That's right. The less money you have, the more expensive life becomes. Not because of bad luck, but because the system is built to charge you for being broke. Think about it. The rich get discounts, rewards, better deals. The poor, they pay fees, penalties, and interest on top of everything else. And once you're stuck in that cycle, every mistake costs double, and every step out feels 10 times harder. Today, we're going to break down exactly why being poor is so expensive and how the rules of money quietly punish those with the least. By the end, you'll see how the game is rigged and what you can do to stop playing like a pawn. But first, if you want to understand how money really works, not the version they teach in school, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment saying you're ready to flip the system. All right, let's get into it. The banking trap. It's hard to survive today without a bank account. You need one to get paid, pay bills, or even rent a place to live. But here's the twist. The less money you have, the more expensive banking becomes. Banks make their profit by using your money. If your balance is too low, say below $1,500, you stop being valuable to them. And when that happens, they start charging you just to keep your account open. $5 here, $12 there, every month just for being broke. And it gets worse. If your balance ever goes below zero, you'll get hit with overdraft fees, $35, sometimes more. You could buy lunch, pay a bill, and suddenly owe the bank $100 in fees overnight. Some banks even reorder your transactions from biggest to smallest just to trigger more overdrafts. They call it policy. I call it legalized robbery. And if you ever need credit, a small loan, a card, anything, they'll gladly offer it to you, but with interest rates that can trap you for years. So the rich get paid for using banks. They earn interest, rewards, and perks. The poor, they pay rent just to access their own money. And that's how the game starts. The system takes what little you have, one small fee at a time, until you stop trusting it altogether. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been charged a ridiculous bank fee for something small? Because once you see how this works, it's hard to unsee it. The cost of borrowing. If you've ever thought credit cards were a trap, you're right. But for people with no credit or bad credit, it gets way worse. When the bank sees that you don't have a perfect record, they don't say, "Let's help." They say, "Let's charge more." So the people who need the lowest rates get the highest ones. It's like being punished for struggling. And if you fall behind, boom, late fees, penalty rates, more interest on top of interest. A small debt snowballs into a mountain before you even realize it. But here's where it gets dark. When you can't qualify for a normal loan, you end up at payday lenders or car title loans. They'll hand you cash fast, but with interest rates that can hit 500, 700, even 800% a year. You borrow a few $100s and owe back a few thousand. It's financial quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Meanwhile, the wealthy borrow at 5%, use the money to invest, and make more money while paying less in interest. The poor borrow to survive and pay the price for it. And this is the irony no one talks about. The people with the least pay the most to use money. That's the real debt trap. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been stuck paying crazy interest rates? Because if you've been there, you know exactly how hard it is to climb out.
The cost of living. Now, let's talk about something most people never think about. How even the basics of life cost more when you're broke. Let's start with food. When you have money, you can buy in bulk, stock up for the month, and save a ton. But when every paycheck is already stretched thin, you buy what you can, a few items at a time, usually from small local stores. And those stores, they charge more. It's not that people don't know how to save, it's that they can't afford to. And if you don't live near a big supermarket, things get even worse. Many low-income neighborhoods are food deserts. No fresh produce, no bulk stores, just convenience shops and fast food. That means you're paying higher prices for lower quality food. You spend more and get less. Then there's rent. Most landlords ask for a deposit, $500, maybe $1,000 up front. For a lot of families, that's impossible. So they end up in cheap motels or month-to-month rentals that cost way more over time. And without a kitchen, laundry, or basic appliances, daily life becomes another expense. Even transportation plays against you. If you don't have a car, you waste hours waiting for buses, walking in the heat or cold, time that could have been spent working, resting, or learning a skill. Time is money, but when you have no money, your time gets stolen too. The truth is, being poor doesn't just mean spending less, it means paying more for everything: food, shelter, time, even energy. And when every dollar is already spoken for, there's no room to breathe, let alone grow. Tell me in the comments, what's something you've noticed that always costs more when you're broke? Because once you start seeing these patterns, you realize this system was never built for everyone to win. The mental trap. Money problems don't just drain your wallet, they drain your mind. When every week feels like a battle to keep the lights on, your brain never gets a break. You're constantly making hard choices. Pay the water bill or buy groceries? Put gas in the car or see the doctor? That constant stress eats away at your focus, your energy, and eventually your judgment. Psychologists call it decision fatigue. It's what happens when your brain gets so tired of surviving that it starts making desperate moves. That's why someone might take a payday loan knowing it's a bad idea. They're not lazy or careless. They're exhausted. They just want one problem off their plate, even if it means a bigger one tomorrow. Then there's something called the scarcity trap. It's when you become so focused on what you don't have that you can't think long-term anymore. Like a parent spending their last bit of cash on diapers for the month and then realizing they don't have enough left for rent. It's not stupidity, it's survival. And the system counts on that. Because when you're stuck in survival mode, you can't plan, you can't build, and you definitely can't fight back. That's the real price of poverty. Not just the money, but the mental weight that keeps people stuck where they are. If you've ever felt that pressure, that mental burnout from trying to stretch every dollar, drop a comment, because most people have no idea how heavy it really gets until they've lived it. Breaking the cycle. Some people say, if you're poor, just work harder. But that's not how this game works, because hard work alone can't fix a system designed to drain you. You can't save if every dollar gets eaten by fees. You can't plan for the future if every day is about surviving the present. And you can't build wealth if the rules are written to keep you broke. That's why the first step isn't just working harder, it's understanding how the system works against you. Once you see it, you can start flipping the rules in your favor. That means using banks strategically instead of letting them use you, learning how credit really works, finding ways to increase income instead of just cutting expenses. And most importantly, never giving control of your money to anyone else. Because the moment you start thinking like the rich, analyzing, planning, and making your money work for you, that's when the game changes. So next time you hear someone say, "I'm broke," remember, being broke isn't just about money. It's about mindset, access, and awareness. And if you've got even a little bit of room to breathe, use it wisely. That small space is what gives you the power to move forward. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and share it with someone who needs to see how the system really works. Because the only way to win is to stop playing by their rules.